Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Wine Time with Nectar of the Dogs. It's Friday. Yay. It's happy hour time. For those of you tuning back in, thanks for joining us. For those of you joining for the first time, welcome to Wine Time. I'm Melanie. This is Nectar of the Dogs Wine. And I'm joined here today by Bronny and Vinny. I don't know if you can see them down there. They're sleeping. But we're here today just to kind of say hello, see what's going on with Nectar of the Dogs Wine, and to talk to a local organization, a dog rescue organization, Bark Party. Christine will be joining us in a few minutes, but just a little bit about who we are and what we do and why we do what we do. Nectar of the Dogs Wine was inspired by the love of our four-legged angels, our fur babies, who passed on to the Rainbow Bridge. All the dogs on the label were our dogs, as I mentioned, passed on to the Rainbow Bridge. And we created this company back in 2015. I created with a friend of mine, and it was really to honor their memory and to celebrate the fun times that we had in life together. The mission that we have is that for every bottle of wine that we sell, we give back a part of the proceeds to different dog rescue organization. It's roughly about 10%. And to date, we've given over $7,000 to various dog rescue organizations, including All American Dachshund Rescue, which is where I got my little fur babies down there. Bark Party, who I mentioned, is actually here with us today. SPCA LA, Pet Orphans of Southern California, just to name a few. We recently also partnered with another organization, Chiquita's Friends. So, the more that we can sell, the more that we can give back. And that's really what we're founded on and why we do what we do. On the label, as I mentioned, here. There are 9 different dogs. I mentioned that I co-founded with a friend of mine, Donna, and she has 5 dogs on the label. We have 4 dogs on the label. So you see here, this is Connie and Clyde and Floyd, who are our dachshunds, and then Mika, who is our husky, who always thought she was a dachshund. But you can go to the website, nectarofthedogswine.com, not only to buy wine, but to learn more about these dogs and how they changed our lives, and really why we created the company for them. So every week we feature a different varietal. The wines that we create are all limited edition varietals, meaning that when we find a wine that we like, we bottle what we like, but doesn't necessarily mean that we'll have it the year after. So if you do like a particular Nectar of the Dogs wine blend, you should buy it because there's no guarantee it'll be back next year. So today, we're going to be featuring our 2015 Chardonnay from Lodi. You see there, it's ABV of 14.9, so it's a nice hearty Chardonnay. This Chardonnay comes from 100% single vineyard Lodi grapes. It's beautifully crisp. It's still very full bodied, creamy mouthfeel, hints of green apple and vanilla. We sell it for $28 a bottle, and if you go to the website nectarofthedogswine.com, you'll see that I'm offering special 30% case discount just to try to obviously stimulate the economy, help the small business, and then of course give back to dog rescue. So the 2015 is just it's our second edition of a Chardonnay, and here at Nectar of the Dogs Wine, our motto is you're not really drinking alone if your dog is with you. Case in point, they're down there. And due to the COVID-19, obviously I can't have anybody here in the studio. So let's see what Monica is doing over in Northridge. Monica, hi.
Hey Mel, cheers.
Hi. Cheers. Happy Friday. Happy
Happy
Chardonnay.
Friday. So I know we're here to talk about the 2015 Chardonnay, but when I went into my wine fridge to open up my bottle tonight, I did run across the 2014 OG Chardonnay,
What? The
where it all
2014,
started.
where it all started, the inaugural
Yeah,
Chardonnay.
so
Awesome.
I had to open it up. It was one of my favorites, and of course, the reason why or one of the first varietals that you bottled, and how you really started the company. Because I mean, maybe you can tell us more about how this started as a passion project and now grew into this amazing wine company that you have now.
Yeah, thanks, Monica. That's true. Actually, Monica and I are working with an editor of a local magazine, and so she asked us to kind of put together the journey of how we started and where we're at today. So that's what we've been working on all week. And as I was putting everything down on paper, I'm like, wow, yeah, it's been quite the journey over 5 years now. So when I started into the wine business, I had some really good friends who had their own wine business, and I just said, hey, how can I get into this? I mean, I love wine and I love dogs, and I wanted to try to put something together. So I said, how can I go about getting some Chardonnay? So my friends introduced me to a person that they work with in Lodi, and I said, I'm looking for this flavor profile of wines that I tasted in Napa. Chardonnay, I think, is one of those like love hate. I love Chardonnay, and I know a lot of people who love Chardonnay, but then there's people who are like, ugh, I don't like Chardonnay. And a lot of California Chardonnay, as we know, is that really like heavy and oaky and buttery, which there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. Totally nothing wrong with that. I just wanted a different flavor profile. I wanted something that was crisp, but still had that full body, and that really nice mouthfeel. And
Yeah.
so, anyway, when I was introduced to the person up in Lodi, I said, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for," and he's like, "Well, I have some in the tank if you want to taste it." I took one, glass out of the tank, and I'm like, "That's it." So we got really lucky on our first bottling of that Chardonnay. We only bottled 50 cases, and we sold out like in 6 months. And so our
That's
friends are like,
amazing.
totally amazing.
Yeah.
And it was really just awesome to go through the experience of taking it from the tank to the bottle, creating the labels and the story. It was awesome. So when we were looking for the second edition of the Chardonnay, which is what we're tasting here now, we'll get a little bit into that. But anyway, Monica, tell us a little bit about what's going on. Obviously, our events have been canceled. What do we have that you want to share with everybody?
Yes, we had so many events on the calendar for the year. Some really great ones: LA Wine Fest, Ventura Wine Walk, and a few others that either got postponed or canceled. So that's kind of a big bummer for us. We don't have a tasting room, so that's really one of our main ways of getting the wine in front of people. And to sell wine, you want people to try it, fall in love with it,
Right.
and buy it. So, what Melanie came up with is, some virtual wine tastings. If you go to the website, nectarofthedogswine.com, you can purchase some cases. They're 30% off, so you can either get a mixed case that includes the red or a mixed case without the red, depending on what you like. Purchase the wine. Once you get it, you reach out to us. We'll coordinate a time that's convenient for you. Melanie will join you and your friends, your family, whoever you want to invite. She will walk you through all of the varietals in your case and just enjoy a really nice time with some wine. And of course, 10% of the proceeds will go to the dog rescue of your choice, or one of the ones that we already work with now.
Yeah, we were doing private tastings prior to all the COVID-19 stuff. So hopefully we can get back to that as well until we actually get our tasting room. But, it's a cool experience. And I've been not only this every Friday that we're doing, but I've been looking at some other different wineries and what they're doing and their Zoom rooms and stuff. So I think it's getting to be pretty common. I think people are kind of understanding what this is all about. So our 2015 Chardonnay. Yes. I just wanted to say actually, when we do our events and we do our tastings, and you can probably attest to this, Monica, going back to that, if people really like Chardonnay or if they don't, I get a lot of red wine drinkers who are like, oh my gosh, I'm a red wine drinker, but your Chardonnay, I love it. It's
Yeah.
a good feeling, right?
I,
And
I remember people have come up and said they don't like Chardonnay. And you're
right.
like, no, 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 please try this one. And a lot of times, I would say like 80% of the time, they're like, oh,
It's
yeah, you're
true.
right.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
totally true. And that's the fun thing about wine. I mean, I've been drinking wine for a long time. I love wine, but in the wine business, I'm obviously still very new, and I just really love trying different wines. I think sometimes people might get intimidated thinking that you have to have a Chardonnay with a fish, or you need to have a red wine with like a steak. Which, yeah, sure, there are traditional pairings, but again, that's just the fun of trying wine. You try wine, you like what you like. I mean, I don't like all kinds of wines, but at least I try it and I know, what my flavor profile is. But we wanted to try something a little different this week. This is week 3 of Wine Time. And so Monica is married to Mark, who is an excellent cook. And
Yeah, he's not bad.
he's not bad. So he did a dish last night, paired with the Chardonnay. And so why don't we take a look and see how that dish came together?
Yeah.
All right, today we're making creamy tuna pasta with peas and Parmesan. And this is an easy dish with some stuff you probably have in your pantry, which is 2 cans of tuna. And the secret ingredient, anchovies. Do you like anchovies?
Sure.
If you or anyone else hates anchovies, I'm telling you right now, they're not gonna taste them, and these things are awesome. They're packed with umami.
You mommy.
Umami.
Your mommy. Umami.
All right, you need 8 ounces of pasta or half a box. I'm using Banza pasta, which is cool.
It's made from chickpeas, which are the same thing as garbanzo beans. I prefer to say garbanzo because you get to say bonzo, and that's a win. But you can use any pasta you want. 2 tablespoons of butter or olive oil, and if you cook with extra virgin olive oil, you shouldn't. Its smoke point is too low, which means it burns quickly. Tonight, I'm using ghee. Ghee is delicious. Half of a yellow onion, 2 cloves of garlic, minced, a cup of frozen peas. I ran out of fancy containers, so I used a glass. What do you know? 1 cup of half and half, heavy cream. I'm using Greek yogurt because it's delicious and it's versatile. You can use it as a substitute for sour cream, buttermilk, and even a substitute for ricotta. Half a cup of shredded Parmesan, and not the cheap stuff. Parmesan should never be the cheap stuff. The only time it's acceptable to eat cheap Parmesan is at a pizza joint, and even then, you get the side eye. 1 tablespoon of capers, a splash of wine for deglazing. You can use chicken stock or even water with a little dash of vinegar if you had to. I'm choosing wine, like I usually do. And of course, 1 to 2 cans of tuna drained. And the secret ingredient, 2 or 3 anchovy fillets chopped. Boil your pasta and try to time it out to be done at the same time as the sauce. This sauce takes 8 to 10 minutes, which is usually perfect for pasta. In a saute pan on medium heat, add the ghee or butter or olive oil. Then throw in the anchovies with their little tasty chovy oils. That's Italian MSG, kids. Add the onions, then the garlic, and saute the garlic for a minute or just until you can smell it. But don't let it brown. If you brown it, start over. I like to stop the garlic from cooking with a little dash of wine. Throw in the wine and let the alcohol cook off. There isn't much, so it shouldn't take more than a minute. Scrape whatever little brown bits you have in the reducing liquid, but watch the garlic. Add the frozen peas and season with a pinch of salt and pepper, and saute for a couple minutes or until the peas are heated through. Since they were frozen, they'll add a little liquid back into the sauce. Turn your heat down and add the Greek yogurt or cream and allow it to come up to a simmer, stirring a lot, frequently. But don't let it scorch. You should always observe and adjust your heat, and that's what cooking is. At this point, the pasta should be getting close, and if you've timed it right, again, cooking, add the drained pasta and stir it. Drop in those capers and sprinkle the good Parmesan over the pasta and stir it to combine. The heat will melt the Parmesan as you stir, and once melted, turn it off. Finally, add the drained tuna and fold it into the pasta. If you're using whole tuna chunks, break them up slightly as you stir. And if you're using chunk light like I am, that's already kind of in small pieces, fold it gently to avoid breaking the tuna up too much. And there it is. And I know it kind of looks like a tuna casserole, which it kind of is, but this is a delicious, easy weeknight meal paired with anything but a weeknight wine.
Wow, that looked pretty tasty. How was it?
It was very good, and it paired really well with the 2015 Chardonnay.
Do you guys have any leftovers? Should we come over? Well, we
Of
can't.
course not. No, of course not.
Cheers. Yeah, when we're not in quarantine, Monica, Mark, my husband, and some other friends of ours, we get together probably like, I don't know, once every 6 weeks or so, and we do these wine dinners where everybody brings a bottle of wine, and one of us will do an appetizer, somebody does the main course, and it's a way.
Hold on, Melanie.
What?
A bottle of wine.
I said we bring a bottle of wine. I didn't say that we drink a bottle of wine because there's lots of bottles of wine consumed. But it's a really fun way we pick a theme. I think last time we did burrata cheese because I was inspired from our trip to Hawaii, and it's a lot of fun. So I encourage people to do that. All right, so let's talk about all the wine drinkers. Oh, good.
You just mentioned they're all watching.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All the wine drinkers on right now. Cheers to you guys. So let's talk a little bit about, before we bring Christine on, as I mentioned and Monica mentioned, the 2014, our inaugural Chardonnay, right? So we did 50 cases, and from the sale of that pallet of wine, we actually gave $1,000 to the All American Dachshund Rescue, my charity of choice because that's where my fur babies came from, and Bark Party. So Bark Party was founded and by Christine Downs, who we're going to meet in just a second, and she was really, really well. She still is really good friends with Donna Graves, my co-founder. So you see here the check that we gave them. Well, that's just the fake check, but we actually did give them $1,000. And then the doggies right there on the right. I think those are some Bark Party mascots, and I think Christine said that she actually still has a couple of those. So let's welcome Christine Downs from Bark Party.
Hi there, Mel. How are you?
Hi, Christine. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
I'm great. Cheers. It's so fun to be with you and drink some
Cheers.
wine on a Friday.
And I think, in our sound check just a little while ago, you said you were drinking the 2013 Rosé of Pinot Grigio.
That's right. It's really good.
Oh my gosh, one of my faves.
I think my all-time favorite is probably the Three Dog White.
Yep.
But this one is delicious. So
totally. I'm glad you still have that. I'm glad you cracked it open for a special night. So, Christine, yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about Bark Party. What inspired you to start this organization?
So, like most people who have a rescue, I just, always loved animals, and I wanted to do something that helped, clear out the shelters a little bit. So I started, taking dogs and cats out of the LA shelters and finding homes for them. So we continue to do that. We've changed our focus a little bit. We try to focus a little bit more now on older dogs. And I can tell you a little bit more about that, but
yeah, I remember. I do remember, because it's been, I think, it's been about 4 years now since we had that inaugural release event. But I do remember that you specialized in placing senior pets with senior citizens, but then you take care of all the expenses that sometimes come along with a senior pet because sometimes it's difficult for a senior citizen. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we thought that there was a special need with some of the senior pets that we were seeing in the shelters because, unfortunately, they aren't the first choice of people who are going there to adopt a new friend, and they get overlooked a lot because sometimes they have health problems or they need their teeth done or whatever it is that they're suffering from. They get passed over. And we also saw in the community that there were a lot of senior people that would love to have a pet, but they just really couldn't afford the vet bills or they were, on a fixed income. So they were worried about taking on that responsibility. Right. So we thought, there might be a way we can help. And so we have a senior program where we put senior pets with senior people. And then we pick up their expenses so we can make sure that they're going to be able to stay there and not end up back at the shelter. So, we've had great success with it. We have a lot of dogs out there right now that are with their senior people, and they're technically fosters forever, but they live there with their humans. And of course, they all love each other, and it's going great.
Oh my God, that's just so beautiful. I mean, it's that, I've had senior dogs. Actually, one of the dogs on our label, Floyd, he was about 10, I think, when we found him as a stray. Bad teeth, just, neglected. But we had him for 2 years and gave him the best 2 years of his life. So, yeah, senior pets, they're just awesome. They're awesome. Let's take a look at Max here and his story. I just think he's so cute. Tell us about Max.
Yeah, Max is super cute. So he's an older dog. He was one of our first seniors that we tried this experiment with, and we placed him with Molly. And Molly is a special needs person herself. She's older and she's on oxygen. She has, quite a bit of medical problems, and she walks with a walker. So Max came into her life, and he actually saved her life. So they're not only best buds, but, Molly fell one day and she was behind her headboard and she couldn't breathe and no one was there to help her. And so Max went to the neighbors and barked until they realized something was wrong and went back and found Molly and, she was saved. So
wow.
I know we think these rescues, we're saving them, but sometimes they literally save us.
I mean, that's amazing. That's the just instinct, I guess, of an animal to say like, hey, my mom's like down and she can't get up. And I mean, it's amazing.
Smart as pants. He really is very aware. He's one of those dogs that knows a lot of words. So if you tell him refrigerator, he goes to the refrigerator. Like he's a little too smart for his own good sometimes, but no, he's wonderful. So he's one of our senior dogs. And
And
he
so,
has a walker, and he has, vet bills because he has a heart condition now, and, all the things that go with having a senior dog. But we're
right.
so happy that he can live with Molly and be safe and have a home for the rest of his life.
So, he obviously he doesn't need to be rescued, like you say. He is with Molly, but he still needs some help because Molly can't get out and walk him and stuff. So, when you're saying that people can donate or sponsor, this is what you're talking about. They sponsor to help these bills or needs that Max may
Yeah.
have since Molly can't. That's what you mean, right?
Exactly. So what we have is we have people who sponsor these dogs, and they give a recurring donation of, however much they want per month. And we use that money to support these pets so that they can stay with elderly people who wouldn't afford them otherwise.
Right. That's beautiful. That's just awesome. So we can see there, or no, actually not that. But you can donate at the PayPal, either barkparty.org or Christine at barkparty.org. So tell us a little bit about Goofy. So Goofy is actually, he needs to be adopted and, his story, but go ahead. Tell us about Goofy.
Yeah, he's so cute. I love Goofy. So again, he was, a shelter dog. He was in very, very bad shape when we found him. I think he had a bad life. He had a lot of injuries. He just wasn't doing well. He was very afraid of people. He would snarl at just about anybody who came near him.
Right.
So, over the last year or so, we've had a trainer for him. We've gotten him healthy. He's like a much happier boy, and he is looking for a forever home. But he's a special case, so he needs to be he can be with other pets, but he really needs to be in a house that doesn't have a lot of activity. Would not be a good house for, like, if you had grandkids or little kids around, because he's a little bit unreliable in the sense that if he gets afraid of something, he snarls and he just might bite
Right.
somebody.
Well,
So,
he
but
had a
he
rough life.
could live as a senior who doesn't have a lot of visitors. I mean,
Yeah.
he'd be perfect for somebody who's a couch potato and just has time to dedicate to him, because he's very loving once he gets to know you.
Right, right. So tell me, I mean, where are your animals housed? Do you have a facility or do you rely on fosters to kind of where are they?
So they're all with fosters.
Okay.
Goofy is living with a foster right now. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, we don't have a facility, unfortunately, but we rely on people who say, I want to foster a dog. So we pull them from the shelters, and then they live with that family until we can find them a permanent home.
Oh, that's
And we,
great.
of course, always have one or two or three at my house.
Yeah, that's true. I've been to your beautiful house, and there were quite a few animals there. I fostered one time. I'm a failed foster. That's my little dog Vinny. I think I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Hard to give them up.
kudos.
They're so
There they are.
so.
Kudos to fosters because you know what, it's tough to have them in your house and to let them go, but just that's wonderful. So in light of the COVID-19, has anything changed with your organization, or is it still easy for people to adopt and foster? Should they just go to the website, or what would you say is the best thing for people to do to help?
Yeah, it's pretty much, it works the same as it always has. You can always contact me through the website. The pets are always posted there. And again, that's barkparty.org. And you can donate through the site. And yeah, I mean, we're happy to consider all adopters or all fosters. And we're still trying our best to keep things going. I know the shelters are a little bit less available than they used to be, but we're still working.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I keep hearing that. And that's a good thing that the shelters are getting cleared because I think everybody's at home and they have time, to be with dogs and cats and pigs and rabbits and
Yeah.
whatever else out there. So that's great. But I'm glad that I'm glad that you guys are still going strong, and it's just wonderful. And I really appreciate and so thankful for people like you and some of the, well, actually all of the other organizations, people that I've met. We're selling wine, we're drinking wine, we're trying to drink for a great cause, but it's people like you who are just out on the front line really helping these animals who don't have a voice, and that to me is just, I mean, thank you. It's just absolutely wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. And just so everybody out there knows, the wine is really good. It's not
Thank
just
you.
about pets. Wine is wonderful.
I appreciate that. That
very
is, thank you. I mean, I think it's great, but I'm a little biased, but I appreciate that. So I just want to let everybody know as well, a little call to action here. For any wine that is ordered from today to April 23rd, Nectar of the Dogs Wine is going to donate 10% to Bark Party. You can find the wine, as I mentioned, on our website, nectarofthedogswine.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Nectar of the Dogs Wine. And then you can check out, the animals that Christine has at barkparty.org. You can follow them at bark.party. And then, as we mentioned before, donations right there, Christine at Bark Party and barkparty.org. If you are an organization or if you have a friend who has an organization and you're interested in being with us here on Wine Time, please email me or Monica. We'd love to have you to learn about your cause, to share your cause, because at the end of the day, we're all drinking for a great cause. So thank you, Christine. And Monica, how's that bottle of 2014 going for you?
Almost gone.
Almost gone. That's awesome. Well, thank you again. I can't wait till we can actually get together in person, and when we can do events together, not only with people like Bark Party, but Chiquita's Friends and SPCA LA. So hopefully we'll have a few more of these wine times. I think we have a few more organizations interested. But I just wanted to, yes. Actually, next week we're going to have Marina Russo from Love at First Mutt. So that's a new organization for us. I think she has a little bit of a smaller one, so we'll get to learn a little bit more about that. But cheers to everybody. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining us. And
can I say one more thing?
Yes, you can.
Everyone out there, if you enjoyed the show, please share with your friends, share with your family, send them to our Facebook page. The video will be up. Come and watch it. It's a lot of fun. And of course, send everybody to nectarthedogswine.com. Buy some wine so we can give back to Bark Party.
Thanks, Monica. I know that's true. I know there's a lot of virtual wine, happy hours and wine times, and it's great. Thank you for joining us. Go buy the wine. Drink with us for a great cause. Cheers. And may dogs continue to bless your life. Happy weekend. Happy Friday.